Welcome to a new episode of WIZLAND. Happy to be with you guys today. Today, we're going to be talking about two topics that I think are pretty interesting to talk about. And we're going to be talking about basically day and night of what's going on with these two guys. In one side, we're going to have to talk about CR7. Honestly, my top, one of my favorite players of all time. He's not my top player, but he is one of my top players. Regardless, without me saying that, I do believe he's the GOAT. And I know a lot of people think Messi's the GOAT, but I have my own reasons of why I believe he is the GOAT that we're going to get into later. Not on this podcast, but on a later podcast. But we're going to talk about CR7, what's going on with him. And honestly, it's a lot of things that are going on with him that you can also see what's going on with him. And I can relate this to Tom Brady. So we're going to definitely get into that today. And also another thing that I want to talk about is about Erling Haaland. He's really destroying the Premier League. And it's pretty incredible to see. Like, it's, as a striker myself, playing my entire career as a striker, as a forward, there's things that this guy already has and has had since he's young. And seeing it live in when you're watching a game and seeing how he's developing and seeing how he's gone from the German league to from Bundesliga to the Premier League and basically performing even better is pretty amazing, because the guy is only 22 years old, and if he continues like this, he's going to be one of the greatest legends of not only Norway but also the Bundesliga. And he might be the best striker that Manchester City has had since Kun Agüero. So I'm going to talk about these two topics because I think it's interesting to see the difference between two organizations. When I became a football fan, when I actually enjoyed playing football and things of that nature when I was in high school, Manchester United was the top team. It was being ran by Sir Ferguson, and he actually was one of the best managers that Manchester United has ever had, and also one of the greatest managers of all time. And he was able to bring Manchester United to this top level that they had already had standards of. Prior to that, they have Cantona, and they had all these different players that already had created a winning culture for Manchester United. But I, per se, grew up with this Manchester United that was crazy good, that they were a force to be reckoned with, that they were at the top of their game. They had young talent, they had old talent, and they were able to actually gel both sides and create a good winning team. That was when Ronaldo had just made it to Manchester United as a winger. They had Nani, they had Tevez, they had Rooney, they had Ferdinand in the back, they had Ryan Giggs, they had Scholes, they had Carrick. They have all these different players. They had Van der Sar at the goal. So they had all these badass players that I grew up idolizing. So they got even Berbatov, like Bad Mr. Roy. They had Beckham. So they had all these badass players that I actually had to go back and look up and things of that nature. And that's what made me one of the biggest fans of Ronaldo, because I actually, at that point, Ronaldo was the top player, or the top young player, in early, I believe, 07, 08. But he was already, you could already see that he was going to be one of the best players in the world, at least in the upcoming years. He had good dribbling skills. He had amazing touch. He had amazing speed. He also had a good technique with both feet, and he could also finish with headers. Something that a lot of people tend to not respect. I mean, I don't understand why a lot of people debate this about Ronaldo, but the guy could finish at every different level. He could do with the left foot, with the right foot, headers. He even have crazy goals where he's been able to make goals with different body parts, and the guy is just a goal scoring machine. But to be honest with you guys, me talking about this, I want to talk about why the football world is the way it is. And the reason is because when you have so high of expectations of something, or of someone, when they don't rise to those expectations, people tend to react very negative about it. Ronaldo has been one of the best players for the last decade with Messi. They always been the top two players. One year has been Messi, the other year has been Ronaldo. They both have gained so much popularity. They have bring so much attention to the sport. They're the top stars in the entire world. And this is the thing about this is that I'm from America, and the thing is that they're not as big as they could be in America because the sport is not as big as basketball or football or baseball. But they're still very known figures. They're still very like known athletes. And the thing is that when they have and they've been so good for so long, at some point that's gonna end. At some point they're gonna start not performing at top. They're not gonna perform as they did in their prime. And the thing is that Ronaldo, even though he's not playing on the regular with Manchester United, he's still creating chances and scoring. And the thing is that people still, when they have expectations of a player like him, they expect him to score maybe 1 or 2 goals every single game. And that's pretty much unrealistic, more so when you're playing under a different system where you're not being used, or under a different coach that doesn't believe in the players that he has. Not saying that the new coach in Manchester does not believe in Ronaldo, but he's also a believer that Ronaldo is going to retire soon. So as a manager, as a coach, his duty is to have the best team out there. Ronaldo, being the legend that he is going to want to play and continue playing as long as he can. And he obviously is going to feel that he can provide, and he is the best option out there. I mean, anyone that doesn't believe that should not be playing professionally. Even myself, when I played, I believed that I was the best option, and I was always trying to play my best when I get the opportunity. I mean, I always started as when I played club, when I played high school, when I played the college year, I always started. So the thing is that you have to believe that you're the best option. And at this point, Ronaldo has always been the best option. And the fact is that the guy has never been like in the position that he's seeing himself being. He's at an older stage in his career. He's under a new manager. So the new manager does not want to live to the legend that Ronaldo is. And I think it's a good thing by the manager. But I also believe that because of that, he should give Ronaldo the option to leave. Ronaldo might be used in a better team, and might actually be more valuable in a different team. The thing is that when it comes to things like that, it's gonna be pretty difficult. It's gonna be pretty difficult to actually balance out what a legend Ronaldo is and his want to be in the pitch, and also the mindset of a new coach. The coach has to build the best team, and sometimes based on the information when you see Ronaldo play, the team plays for him in a way, and then he's not as lethal as he once was. He's not as I don't want to say he's not the best version of himself right now, and you can kind of tell the frustration that he's going through when he is shooting, and his shots don't come as strong as they used to. It was amazing seeing him actually score the last game that he played. I was very happy for him. I was very happy for Manchester United. Anthony, I mean, the dude is going to be really good in a couple of years. He's already good, but he's not even there yet. Like I still believe that Anthony has so much talent that he's gonna get to a point where he's gonna be very, very scary. And I think that the relationship that he has with the general manager is what's gonna make that difference when it comes to it. You're not gonna see immediate results, even though he's already producing. His real talent is not gonna show until he has been there maybe for a year and a half to 2 years. But Ronaldo, I do believe that he is going to eventually leave. He might leave. He might leave to another Italian team. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to Juventus, or I wouldn't be surprised if he goes. my dream would be for him to go back to Real Madrid, but I don't think that would happen. Just because Benzema is just crazy right now. He's destroying. He's still at the top striker. Even though Erling Haaland is going through some stuff right now, I do believe that Erling Haaland, unless I might be wrong, but I don't think he's gonna be able to keep this up, which I'm gonna get into. But I do believe that Benzema is gonna be able to actually continue his force for another year to 2 years, and then he's gonna slowly decline. So with Benzema being there, and Ronaldo being at an older stage, I don't see Ronaldo going back to Real Madrid. But again, I mean, nobody knows nothing. So I do hope that Ronaldo ends up going to a different team, a team that is actually in the Champions League and that has an opportunity to actually go deep in that tournament, because it's crazy. Like, the Champions League is not the same without Ronaldo in a sense. But I do believe that once Ronaldo goes into the World Cup and they actually make some noise, which I do believe Portugal is going to be the dark horse of that tournament. We'll see. We'll see what comes out of it. But I do believe that he'll go to a different team based on how he performs in Portugal over the World Cup. So congrats to Ronaldo for hitting 700 goals as a club. He's the first one to get there. Messi, he's not that far behind, 691 at the moment of this video. And I think that at the end of the day, man, these are like the greatest players of all time. I don't care who you are. I don't care what players came before them. I'm a big Ronaldo R9 phenomenal fan. But there's certain reasons Ronaldo has been able to get to 700 goals. His longevity, his seriousness, his professionalism. That's why he's the greatest. Not because of talent. The dude is a talented dude. But phenomenal could have been one of like that as well. But his body couldn't, his body's not the same. He had very serious injuries. Ronaldo, I don't think he's ever had really serious injuries. Neither Messi. They've had injuries, but then they have career-ending injuries like Ronaldo did. But Ronaldo was one of the best strikers in my opinion. But just because he was one of the best strikers doesn't mean that he's the best player of all time. I do believe that there's a lot of things that go into becoming the best player of all time. I don't put Pelé in the same era. I don't put Ronaldinho there. Ronaldinho is a top 5 player of mine. But I truly believe that he doesn't have the body of work. Yeah, he has one Ballon d'Or. He has a World Cup. But it wasn't long enough. I don't believe that him being so dominant for 2 to 3 years, I believe maybe 5 years, I don't believe that's enough of a time frame for anyone to be considered the greatest of all time. So Messi is coming up to 700 goals, and I do see him probably attaining that by the end of the year. Ronaldo's gonna hopefully keep scoring, and it's pretty interesting, man. Like, I very much enjoyed the best time that Ronaldo had with Manchester, with Real Madrid, and even his runs in the tournaments with Portugal, because Portugal, prior to that, they had not had good success prior to the Figo and Ronaldo and Quaresma and Nani and all those players. They didn't have really good success. At least I'm not aware. I'm not pretty fluent in Portugal's football, but in that period of time, I did see that once they joined the team, when Ronaldo was number 17, when Quaresma was number 27, and Figo was number 7, they were pretty dominant. You know, they were pretty good. They ended up winning that Euro Cup, and yeah. So now to the other side of the coin, Erling Haaland. What is going on with this dude? What is going on with this dude? The dude is crazy. He's berserk. He's killing the league. He is really much destroying the Premier League. He has 15 goals in 9 games. That's pretty much insane. It's pretty crazy, because the guy definitely. I saw the Manchester City game. He scored 3 goals in 45 minutes, and he could have scored more. He could have literally scored probably another 2-3 goals in the second half. And it's insane what he's doing and what he's changing and what he's he's in a pace to destroy the Ballon, the Golden Boot award for the league, which is at 34 goals. At this rate, he might reach 60. Who knows, man? But that's the beautiful part about football. I do believe that every generation changes. The style of play changes. The game changes. There's more technology. Players are more developed at a younger age. And just with the technology, with the medicine, everything has changed. And there's so many different things now. I am a true believer that as time goes by, the game evolves. And that's the product of Erling Haaland. Haaland has all this information that he probably consumed at a young age. I'm talking about looking at reels from past players, looking at different film, looking at how different athletes developed, having the support of parents that were in the professional level. That's what's really the difference between a player like him and the players before him. He's a guy that has been able to stay humble, and in the social media world where everybody's trying to actually be like kind of, I don't want to say show off in a way, but he's a very humble dude. Like I've seen some of the interviews he has had, and he has put in the time to. He comes out as a very, very humble guy that was raised correctly. And I think that that's one of the things that goes over a lot of players, because in the opposite, you have players like Mbappe. And I don't want to just use Mbappe because Mbappe is, I mean, that's the way he is, you know. But you have him. Mbappe seems to be a guy that is pretty much about his stats, about him believing that he is the best of the world, and that's fine. But then you have somebody like Haaland that plays for the team, and because he plays for the team, he's able to create results and generate results that are good for him. So I do believe that Haaland is a product of the team, but without his actual style of play, that would not work. When people say that he's a poucher, he's just looking for tap-ins, I laugh at it because it's not easy to do. I don't care what level of position what level you've played football in, but if it was that easy to score goals, I think that a lot of people would try to play forwards. It's not easy. There's pressure of you kind of making every chance. Sometimes you won't even get a chance. And because you'll get one chance and you miss that shot, or you miss that free kick in, that can haunt you. That can beat up your own confidence and things of that nature. So doing what Haaland is doing is impressive and is very much unheard of. I don't think anyone has ever started that hot with a new team. And that's the thing. He's in a new system. He's in a new system. He's with new players. And he's with a new coach, and he seems like Guardiola knew what he was doing. I truly believe that Guardiola is the best manager of our generation, of the thousands generation. I know he's had, and it's pretty questionable because a lot of people believe, well, he coached Messi. Anybody that can coach Messi probably would have created those teams. But you have to understand, when it comes to coaching, it's about not only putting players on the field that will work together, but it's also working with these people's mindsets. Not everyone is going to like the coach. That's why you have Ibrahimovic, a history of Ibrahimovic not liking how Guardiola coach. There's a history of players that don't always fall under the belief in the system that he had going on. So it's about putting the right team out there. It's about creating the right foundation and belief of a team. And I think that Guardiola has been able to do that very, very well. The fact that he brought in Haaland, he already knew Haaland. I'm pretty sure if Guardiola had two options of signing Mbappe or signing Haaland beats it by 100%. Why? Because his misdemeanor, for one, the way he speaks about himself is not a very cocky way. He's cocky on the pitch, and don't take this wrong. The guy is very cocky, but on the pitch. Outside the pitch, he's very humble. He's very direct. he doesn't even like getting interviewed, you know. So, and when he like, there's so many interviews of him just being straight to the point, and interviewers don't like it, but he's very much a straight to the point guy. And if you see that, you can truly see the type of dude he is. He's a very humble, down to earth guy, and he's worked very, very well with Manchester City. And just because he's worked very well with Manchester City doesn't mean that if they would have brought someone else, it would have been the same result. No, I mean, the guy has to be pretty much humble enough to learn the system, to be able to get coached, and honestly understand his movement and his actual duty on the field. Some strikers go to different teams, or some players go to different teams, and they don't know where they fit in the team. Grealish is a big example. He's been one of those guys that got paid a lot to be transferred over to Manchester City. And to be honest, I don't see him being used, or I don't see his value with Manchester City, because there are so many other players that actually know and actually play better. And Haaland, as soon as he got there, he already knew that he didn't care how he scored, that his only duty is to score. So he's not going to hold the ball. He's not going to try to juke anyone, but he is going to try to execute on the chances that he gets in front of the goal. So with that being said, guys, it's amazing. It's pretty cool to see what's going on in the Premier League. At the moment of this video, I do believe that Arsenal is still at the top. And we're going to also get into Arsenal being at the top, because eventually it's going to be interesting, where a lot of people believe that Manchester City is going to win, and I'm one of those people that believes that Manchester City is going to win it, just because Haaland is basically killing everybody right now. He's destroying every defense he's playing against. And honestly, I don't see that stopping unless he gets injured. And that's going to be an interesting time, because when he gets injured, who's going to step up? You know, who's going to be the person that is actually going to be scoring the goals? Right now, you have Foden doing a pretty good job at scoring goals. The game with Manchester United, he scored a hat-trick, but she's going very under the radar, because everybody's talking about Haaland, but Foden is having one of his best years. So don't forget about that guy. But there's so many support players around these two guys that is creating these opportunities for Haaland to succeed. But yeah, guys, what you think? Do you think that City's gonna win it, or do you think that Arsenal or Liverpool might make gonna come back? You know, do you believe that Ronaldo is gonna continue on his streak and he's gonna continue to score? I personally believe that he might only get maybe another 20 to 25 goals before he retires. That's my personal belief. Last year he had 20 goals. This year, I do believe that he's going to go play somewhere else in January. And in 2023, he might get another 20 goal season somewhere else. And then who knows? He might eventually come to the MLS like Suarez is coming to the MLS. So, yeah, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you like today's video. Share your thoughts. Let me know what's up. Let me know what you think. Because it's pretty crazy. It's basically you're seeing the end of a career compared to the beginning of another one. Do you think that Haaland is eventually has the potential to eventually get to, let's not say 700, because there's a little bit out there. But let's say, can he at least score 500 goals for club? I personally believe so. But I think that the main thing is for him to stay healthy. If he's a guy that stays healthy, I mean, the guy's a 6'4" guy. So the other player that I can think of that has been able to stay on the pitch that is that tall for a very long time, and that it plays strikers is Zlatan. You know, that's the only other player. And if he plays in this level for, let's say, the next maybe 5 to 6 years, he's gonna be pretty much the one of the main legends for Manchester City, and he's gonna be one of the main legends for the Premier League, because the guy is barely starting. He's only 22 years old, and by the age of 27, I'm pretty sure that he's gonna be living at his height of his potential. But also keep in mind that nowadays the game has changed. That some people reach for their potential 30, 31, 32, 33, something like Benzema is going through right now. Modric is still playing at a very top level at 36, I believe, 37. So these guys, things are changing. So players' careers are being prolonged longer, and they're lasting longer because of the medicine, because there's more technology that is helping these players last. So yeah, guys, I hope you had a good day, and I hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and I hope you have a good day. If you watched to the end, salute, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.